What's good, YouTube, man? We're back. So we're gonna get back to go ahead and react to these the One Piece chapters, man. So today we got started with chapter 1161, a song of love bound under a hail of arrows. And now Oda doesn't usually do romance that much, but man, when he does do it, it be hit. So much of this much of this chapter is really just delving into the rescue of Shaki, however you want to pronounce it. But that's what most of this chapter covers. And the cool thing I noticed is like for this, we do see rocks in here, but it's him like worried about Eris in Teach, which Eris seems to be his wife. Obviously Teach is Blackbeard that we know in current time frame. So one of the things that's really big that happened is Garp Upscale. Now I'm not a power scaler or anything like that, but like I do enjoy hearing people like get all heated about it and seeing like the memes stuff like that. So the memes that have came out from this chapter have been funny. There's been pro Garp, there's been some anti Garp memes. It's just like, oh well, he was such a Chad in his prime, but now he goes down to a, a knife stab and like what happened to him on the island when he lost to not Kuzan and whatnot. But regardless of that, we get huge upscale. So obviously we show it, and it covers Dragon. He's still running with the Shamrock and Shanks, but he ends up getting spotted by one of the Holy Knights. I think it was like Saint Matthew or something like that. And they ended up shooting a laser straight through his arm. And right before Dragon's about to get finished, revolutionary head guy doesn't even exist no more. Whitebeard comes. And I do feel like it was a little. And this is the weird thing with like them like covering like the backstory. And it's a good thing at the same time, but like you sometimes like I feel like at least me personally, I forgot Whitebeard was technically a pirate because he seemed like a high morality person. So like to see him like just straight up just casually just fucking cut somebody in half. He doesn't even like from behind as well. It's not like it was like a respectable like, hey, square up with me type deal. It was basically like it was the equivalent of a sneak attack, basically. Like, I mean, if you want to be real, Whitebeard basically sneaked the dude. But whatever the case is, it kind of hits you and you're just like, damn, I didn't really think Whitebeard was like that. But then you got to remember, these guys are pirates. And he knows he's going to an island that is most likely filled with the celestial dragons and hella marines. So it's like you kind of have to be on all tens, all P's and Q's, you know what I'm saying? So like the moment he's seeing people, he's seeing what looks like a combatant, boom, no question, no ass. But regardless of the case, he unironically saves Dragon. And I think what's funny here is like Dragon goes through these things and he doesn't get spot like you don't get to see an interaction between Dragon and like Whitebeard, or Dragon and Big Mom, Dragon and Kaido, and not even Dragon and Garp. Now I don't know if we're gonna get that, but eventually here comes the upscale. You get Dragon, or not Dragon, you get Garp making a scene. He's like, oh, that's a giant fishing pond right there. Let me go in and cast my net. And he's referring to the fishes as Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. He just leaps in like a Chad, not even really thinking about it, doing his heavenly impact or whatever. And the first thing that happens, you would think, oh shit, man, we about to see a brawl. You know what I'm saying? 3v1, man. Garp versus Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard. Nah, nah, nah. These folks just dipped. They said, nah, the fight gonna take too long. It's Garp. We can't really fuck with him. And it's not me. It's not them saying it's straight out admitting, hey, we would lose to Garp. You know what I'm saying? But what they're saying is the fight would get dragged out because it's Garp. Like yeah, they might win, right? but it's gonna be like, damn, this shit takes forever, you know? It's because like basically they're equating Garp to like a tank. Like you can take a tank down, but it's gonna take a while, you know. So and they're just like, we don't really have time, you know. This is a big pivotal island right now. You know, a lot of key players are here. You know, they're already aware that the Roger Pirates are on there. They know the Celestial Dragons are there, and I'm not sure that they even know what the Holy Knights are as a faction. But still, just knowing that Celestial Dragons are there is a big deal, right? So obviously, you might even get an admiral show up, like which I think they would consider Garp basically an admiral equivalent or even above that at the time. But we don't get a total like cock tease. We don't totally get a oh man, they ain't even do nothing to Garp at all. Big Mom calls Zeus and Prometheus, sends an attack, and that I think Odo basically just wanted to give Garp like a mean aura moment, and he basically gets zapped by Zeus and Prometheus with big attack. And, you know, you get to see um, Kuma and the name of the person is escaping me, but the one that helped Luffy in the prison escape. That's the but yeah, but they're just like, wow, what the fuck is that? You know, and it does nothing. It does nothing, and that's what's funny. And like, he automatically hits a one liner. He's like, this isn't even hot enough to roast a prime rib, Lin Lin. Like he literally, and then he hits him with the Lin Lin. Like, and granted, I don't think she was really referred to as Big Mom at the time because she's not big yet, and she's not a mother yet. At least that we don't know that she's a mother yet. So it kind of makes sense that she's just referred to as Lin Lin because Kaido says the same thing. But then again, Kaido also refers to him or her as Lin Lin even when like in the present day. So, but regardless, it is cool to see. You know, Garp got his aura farming moment, so that was really cool. So, oh, also you get to see Dragon call Garp, refer to Garp as his dad. As Zeus and Prometheus' attack is coming down, you see Dragon literally on the ground saying, "Dad?" Question mark. Like he was worried about him. And so I didn't really know that there was a community out there that was trying to theorize that maybe Garp and Dragon aren't actually blood relatives. But I guess it isn't too far of a stretch to like think about because obviously beginning it's like, oh, Ace is related to Luffy, right? So therefore he's related to Garp and therefore related to Dragon. You know, that's obviously what happened, right? But that obviously wasn't the case. So maybe they thought that was just another play on it, right? But no. I didn't think that was the case, but it makes sense why there's a community out there that might believe that. But whatever the case, that was cool to see. And now we get towards the later end. Pretty much like the other plot of this chapter was the rescuing of Shaki. Damn, I suck at saying names. But we see Summers there, the same Summers that we see in Elba today, and this guy is just straight dick. He's a dick in current time. He's a dick back then. Just like I think it's just a part of the criteria to be a Celestial Dragon / Holy Knight. You know. Also, speaking of Celestial Dragons, the Marines are trying to escort the Celestial Dragons off the island. You know, because you have Rogers and the Rocks Pirates all there at the same time. So you know, logically, you would think even a Celestial Dragon would be like, "Ah, damn, this shit's kind of chaotic. I think I'm gonna leave." It's like I know I'm like above these people, but they might try something, you know. But no, Celestial Dragons just don't have common sense. You know, they don't think to themselves, "Damn, these folks might actually do something to me." They think they're so far above people that they don't even consider like the idea of something negative happening to them or physical at least happening to them is just like not even a possibility. And that's why I find it so funny because the Marine's like, "Hey, sir, well, let's go off the island." And the Celestial is just like, but there's stuff there's treasures, there's you know prizes that I still want to capture on this island. And then the Marine, he's just taking like this guy doesn't have any pull. He can't sit here and say this stuff. But he's just trying to comfort the guy to get him to leave. He's just like, yeah, sir, I'm sorry, but we'll take full responsibility of it and getting you this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And the Celestial Dragon's just going in on this guy. And just like, yeah, you gonna take all responsibility for everything. You know, like it's like, oh, it's the Marine's fault that everything's going to shit. So it's just like that. Oda making sure to let you know that there is no redeeming quality, and I would be really surprised if the Celestial Dragon faction doesn't meet like a tragic ending based off like just to reciprocate the shit that they've done. You know what I'm saying? But whatever the case, we're back to Summers, and he's basically just trying to. He's thinking about go ahead and just ending Shaggy. He's just like, well, you're causing a lot of problems. You know, everybody came out here looking for you. So I think it's about time I might just go and kill you. And I can say it's an accident. You know, Garling, he might be a little upset, but he'll get over it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then we see Shaki try and stand up for herself, but she's not. She's handcuffed, so she can only really kick. And then even then, he catches her kick. So I mean, Shaki's strong, but she doesn't seem to be on the level of a Holy Knight. So everything looks like it's gonna be bad for her. But then they have come in and hit the good old Zoro type of posture, you know, like he was about to go in on the guy. Like the way he attacked was kind of like the paneling kind of was similar to a Zoro attack, and I kind of like that, right? But and then you have this heartfelt breakdown where like Rayleigh's finally admitting to where it's like, hey, I'm sorry I was late, blah blah. And there's a little flashback of the note that she left saying, "Come find me," blah blah blah. And you know, they're just Shaki breaks down, cries, and it's just like it's really a heartfelt moment, you know. And it's funny though because Roger and Gavin are both like, "Hurry this shit up, wrap this shit up, we gotta go." And like they're crying like tears because obviously it's touching for them too. But then in Roger's text, there's like a broken heart because obviously Roger also loved wanted Shaki as well, but obviously he ain't hating that his boy got in, right. It was either him and his boy. You know, he was that's his day one. You know, he's cool with whoever got it. You know, whoever she chose or who she chose. But it was really heartfelt, man. But next week, I'm willing to bet that we're going to get the rock side of things. So we're going to get Walk's going to teach and Eris. And I think after that, then we'll get into whatever emu stuff or whatever stuff is going to play out to where it's going to be Roger and Garp versus Rocks. Like I said, there's going to be more to the story. It's not going to be as clear cut because the way it is right now, it just doesn't make sense. And then also, if you look at it, Garp doesn't seem to be like people want to meme on Garp like for taking the side of the Celestial Dragons and the Marines, whatever. Garp doesn't seem to be caring that these people are just dying, right? He's just in it. He's just here for Roger. That man's just here for his op. That's it. And I think that's very funny, right? But people are gonna judge it however you want to judge it. But just a quick little review over the chapter. 1161, man, was a solid chapter, man. Wouldn't say it's anything great. It was more of the lackluster chapter that after we've gotten, but we've been on a banger for the past like fucking like 2 months, maybe longer. I swear, ever since the Holy Knights really got into action on Elbath, we've been just getting heaters. You know, it's just crazy between Gunko getting possessed. So then you getting Loki starting the backstory, and then we got 2 rocks, and then we got 2 God Valley, and now we're about to hopefully get everything cleared up about what happened in God Valley, and we're probably gonna get some more lore and Emu. Man, this shit looking great. Man, we eating good, man. But man, whatever. Man, y'all put y'all comments. You know, tell me what you thought about the chapter. Let me know what you think. And man, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like, man. It helps a lot. Appreciate it, y'all. Good.